Nothing. That is what last weekend gave back. And you did everything right this time. Picture it. Sunday evening around 7, the bath happened, the walk happened, the phone spent the afternoon face down in another room. You protected this weekend like it was sacred because last week nearly finished you. And everyone kept saying the same thing. You need rest. You need boundaries. You need self-care. So you did it, all of it, properly. And now it is Sunday evening and you are sitting in a clean, quiet, candlelit life, feeling exactly as empty as you did on Friday. Plus one thing extra, a new creeping worry that something must be wrong with you. Because the cure everyone swears by does not work on you. There is nothing wrong with you. You have been given the wrong diagnosis and you have been treating it faithfully. By the end of this video, you will know which of the two kinds of empty you are running on, why one of them cannot be fixed by any amount of rest, and the one question that tells you which is yours in under a minute. Because here is what the wrong diagnosis is costing you, and it is more than weekends. It costs you an arms race. More rest, better boundaries, earlier nights, a morning routine with more steps than a wedding. Each round works less than the last. So you escalate again. It costs you the blame. Maybe I am doing rest wrong. Maybe I am just someone who cannot relax. It costs you honesty with the people who love you. Because how do you explain being exhausted by a life that looks perfectly fine? And worst of it all, it costs you time, months, years for some of you, spent servicing a problem that was never built to reach. So let us get the diagnosis right tonight, wherever you are. There are two kinds of running on empty, and they feel almost identical from the inside. The first is depletion. Output exceeded input for too long. So your tank was dry, and depletion is a resources problem then. And rest is exactly the right medicine for it. When depleted people rest, something definite happens. They come back. The color returns. Ideas return. Monday feels possible again. The second is misalignment. And misalignment is not a resources problem. It is a fit problem. Somewhere along the way, you changed. Quietly, honestly. The way people do. And the life kept running on the old settings. The job built for a previous you. The commitment signed by a previous you. Now, every ordinary day asks you to operate as someone you are quietly no longer being. That costs energy, constantly, like a tax. And rest cannot pay an identity tax. If you saw my video on the two types of tired, this is the engine underneath it. So here is the one question test I promised you at the start of this video. When you rest, do you come back? That's a key question. When you rest, do you come back? Or do you just pause? Just take a minute to process that. You may need time away from this video to reflect and think about that. If it's depletion, you tend to come back. When it's misalignment, things just pause. So depletion comes back, misalignment just pauses. If your weekend are pauses between identical weeks, if rest makes you comfortable but never restored, you do not have a rest problem. You have a fit problem. And those need completely different things. Let me name what this actually feels like, because misalignment hides inside good lives, and that hiddenness is half the suffering. It feels like guilt with no crime. The job is decent, the people are kind, others would swap with you. So you add guilt on top of the emptiness for feeling it at all. It feels like being homesick in your own life. Everything is where you left it, and none of it feels like yours anymore. Almost like you've lifted yourself. You're living a life that you don't recognize. It's your life. You own it. It's yours, but it feels strange. It feels like envy at strange moments, not of money or titles, it's actually envy of anyone who seems to be living a life that actually fits them. And on Sunday evenings, it feels like dread that arrives while the weekend is still technically yours. Not dread of the meetings, dread of the self the week requires. If any of that landed, hear this before we go further. You are not ungrateful. You are not broken. You are not bad at resting. Gratitude and misalignment can live in the same person. A life can be good and still not fit. You are not failing your life. You are outgrowing its current shape. And outgrowing is not a malfunction. It is the most reliable sign of life there is. So, what does misalignment actually want from you? Not what you fear. Let me say that first. It is not automatically asking you to quit your job or leave your town or burn anything down. Misalignment is information, not an instruction. Here is how to read it. 3 moves. First, stop the escalation. No new routines this week. No additional fixing. You cannot hear what the emptiness is saying while you are busy drowning in solutions. The bath was never wrong. It was just answering a different question. Second, run the fit audit. For one ordinary week, notice 2 lists. The moments you feel most like yourself and the moments you feel furthest from yourself. Do not judge them. Just collect them. Just call them out. Write them in a journal, if you will. At the end of the week, look at what they have in common. That is your misalignment map. Most people are shocked by how specific it is. It is rarely the whole life. It's usually 2 or 3 things. Third, name who you are now. Somewhere in you, there is a sentence that starts, I am no longer the person who, let's try that. Let's try that together. I am no longer the person who people pleases, plays small. You finish that sentence. I am no longer the person who, answer that honestly, on paper. Because the life cannot catch up to a self that has never been named. And once it is named, realignment can start small. A conversation, a boundary, a returned hobby, Small realignments, faithfully made, do more than dramatic exits, badly timed. Everything I have described tonight sits inside a framework I have spent years building. I call it the becoming map, a before self, a liminal space, an emerging self. Misalignment is what it feels like when the life is still shaped around the before self and you have already started becoming someone else. The exhaustion is not a malfunction. It is the gap asking to be closed. There is a free guide linked below to help you find where you are on the map. And subscribe, because this channel exists for exactly this gap, the one between the life you built and the person you are becoming. Every week, we close it a little. And tell me in the comments, honestly, when you rest, do you come back or do you just pause? Depletion or misalignment? One word is enough. I read every single one. My name is Hannah Ola. Rest is for tired. Becoming is for this.